Turn around for me.
Hell yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You're
I'm
under
gonna take
arrest.
the ticket. I'm gonna take the ticket.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
For what?
Okay.
You don't have any proof on me.
No, ma'am, I do.
Glorilla just went from Grammy-nominated rapper to felony suspect overnight. While she was on stage performing at the WNBA All-Star Weekend, burglars broke into her Georgia home. But instead of arresting the thieves, police cuffed her, the victim. Now the internet's exploding and fans are demanding answers. Was she set up? Was it personal? Or is this just how the system treats rising stars from the trenches? Home invasion or setup. July 22, 2025. Glorilla is peaking. She's performing at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, living the dream. But back home in Georgia, her world is quietly falling apart. While she's on stage, 3 armed intruders break into her house. Her family is inside. A gun is fired. The burglars flee. Jewelry gone. Trauma left behind. You think police would focus on catching the suspects, right? They didn't. Instead, they searched her house and found marijuana in a closet. Suddenly, the robbery didn't matter. The trauma didn't matter. The fact that Glorilla wasn't even home didn't matter. They arrested her. Let that settle. The victim called for help and left in handcuffs. She posted to X in disbelief. My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing, and instead of focusing on the suspects, they focused on some cannabis. That tweet hit over 3.6 million views. Fans, celebrities, and activists lit up social media. Everyone asked the same thing: how is this justice? It gets worse. As of the latest reports, no arrests have been made for the actual robbery. The real criminals still free. Meanwhile, Glo staring down felony charges over a stash found in a home she wasn't even occupying. And what did the cops say? They claimed they saw weed in plain view, got a warrant, and decided that was worth more attention than the break-in. Let that sink in. A black woman gets robbed, calls for help, and ends up facing years in prison. This wasn't just law enforcement being sloppy. This looked personal. And for anyone who's been watching Glorilla's rise, it felt familiar, because this wasn't the first time the system came for her. And last time, they didn't even need a break-in. The 2024 DUI setup. Before the home invasion headlines, there was April 2024, the first major red flag that Glorilla was becoming a target, not just a star. She got pulled over in Gwinnett County, Georgia, and hit with DUI charges. But this wasn't your typical celebrity traffic stop. The body cam footage told a different story. The clip starts with the officer asking her name. Her tone? Calm, but sharp, like someone who already knew what was coming. "Yeah, I'm on your TV, ma'am." That wasn't arrogance. That was survival mode. A recognition that being famous doesn't shield you. It just puts a bigger bullseye on your back. The officer claimed to smell alcohol, but Glorilla stood her ground. "I'm not drunk, I can tell you that." Despite no slurred speech, no stumbling, and her passing multiple field sobriety tests, the officer wasn't having it. "Turn around for me." "All right, I'm taking you in." And just like that, she was cuffed. This wasn't about public safety. This was about power and sending a message. The moment felt bigger than a traffic stop. It was a warning: stay in your lane or we'll handle it for you. The arrest made headlines, but Glo didn't panic. She didn't rant or play victim. She let the footage speak for itself, and fans took notice. Social media lit up with comments about racial profiling, overreach, and how the justice system handles black women in power. Because let's be real, if this was a pop star from Beverly Hills, it probably would have ended with a warning and a handshake. Instead, it planted a seed. It showed that success doesn't insulate you from the system, it exposes you to it. But here's where it gets even deeper. That DUI arrest? It happened right when her career was exploding. Just months after the F&F wave and the CMG deal, right when she was moving differently. Bigger venues, more eyes, and real power. Coincidence? Or was that the first attempt to slow her down? Because what came next, the burglary, the arrest, the felony charges, wasn't the start of her downfall, it was the continuation of a pattern.
And to understand how Glorilla even made it to that level of fame in the first place, we gotta rewind even further, back to a cramped house in South Memphis.
From choir girl to street icon. Before the viral fame, before the rap beefs, before the felony headlines, there was Gloria Hallelujah Woods, a girl growing up in the heart of South Memphis, surrounded by noise, struggle, and survival. 9 siblings, 1 house, 6 brothers, 4 sisters, and every day felt like a battle to make it to the next. In that world, an air mattress was luxury, and dinner wasn't guaranteed. You learned to be tough, or you got swallowed by the streets. But even in all that chaos, Gloria stood out. Her mother gave her a name that carried weight, Hallelujah, a name with hope, purpose, maybe even destiny. While the other girls got Nicole, she got something bigger. And it wasn't just the name, it was her voice. Before she ever spat a bar, she was singing in church, locked into the choir every Sunday without fail. We're talking Amazing Grace, Encourage Yourself, songs that lifted people, that gave hope in places where hope was hard to find. She used to sing in church. I had a good voice. We was always there, every week. She wasn't just another kid on the pews. She had presence, a gift, the kind that made people stop and listen. But life in Memphis don't wait for your talent to blossom. High school hit and the streets started whispering. Church got replaced by smoke sessions. Hymns turned into hooks. That gospel fire inside her didn't die. It just changed form. By the time she was a teen, Gloria was messing with weed, skipping choir, and trading melodies for melodies with a beat. The transformation wasn't sudden. It was survival. Because in South Memphis, you don't just get discovered, you get hardened. You learn to protect your name, fight for attention, and earn your spot in a city full of voices trying to be heard. And she didn't just survive, she adapted. That raw energy, that dual identity, part angel, part rebel, became the blueprint for who she'd become. Glorilla. She took that church soul, wrapped it in street realism, and turned it into something the industry hadn't seen before. Something authentic, gritty, unfiltered. But it wasn't until one song hit the internet that everything changed. Because up next, the track that made her famous and nearly tore her career apart. The FNF explosion. Every artist has that one moment where everything shifts. For Glorilla, that moment was called FNF, Let's Go. It was early 2022 when she linked up with Memphis producer Hitkidd. On the surface, it was just another studio session. But what happened in that booth? Lightning in a bottle, unscripted, unfiltered, unstoppable. The beat hit like a freight train, Glow's voice cut through it like a blade, and the lyrics? A full-on anthem for every woman tired of dusty dudes wasting her time. I'm F-R-E-E, F-nigga free. It wasn't just a catchy hook, it was a cultural moment. The song exploded on TikTok, racking up millions of views. It hit the Billboard Hot 100, climbed streaming charts, and earned a Grammy nomination. Suddenly, Glorilla wasn't just the girl from South Memphis. She was the voice of a movement. Women everywhere were chanting those bars, throwing up the middle finger to toxic exes and claiming independence. But with big wins come bigger problems. Just as FNF was peaking, Hitkidd went public, claiming Glow and her label CMG tried to take control of the track without looping him in. I told you labels were gonna come calling. I told you to keep me in the loop, but you signed the song without me. It was classic industry drama. A viral hit, blurred contracts, and egos on all sides. To the outside world, it looked messy. But Glow, she didn't fold. She clapped back with a calm but lethal response. I've made $0 from FNF, not 1 red cent, only from shows. But guess what? I can rap in real life. I write every lyric. I ain't no one-hit wonder. That statement silenced the doubters. It reminded everyone Glow wasn't an industry plant or a TikTok fluke. She had bars, vision, hunger, and she was just getting started. The FNF drama might have rattled other artists, but for her, it was fuel. A reminder that everybody wants a piece when the pie gets big, and that pie was only growing.
Because labels weren't just watching, they were circling, calling, offering yachts and million-dollar deals. And what Glo did next? It changed everything.
Label drama and CMG deal. After FNF took over the charts, every major label in the country wanted a piece of Glorilla. Flights were booked, meetings were scheduled, checks were flashing. She had gone from viral to valuable, fast. But unlike a lot of artists who get starstruck by the glitz, Glo moved different. She spent 2 full weeks taking meetings, weighing offers, and scoping out who really saw her value beyond one viral hit. She wasn't just chasing the biggest bag. She was looking for a long-term vision. And then came Yo Gotti, not just a label exec, a Memphis legend, someone who understood what it meant to grind from nothing, someone who came from the same streets she did. Their meeting wasn't in an office or a boardroom. It was on a yacht. Glo pulled up with confidence, plugged in the aux cord, and played Gotti her unreleased music. No pitches, no filters, just bars, beats, and raw talent. She said, "We was just vibing. He believed in me." That moment sealed it. While other labels saw FNF and wanted to recreate the formula, Gotti saw the bigger picture. He didn't just want the song, he wanted the artist. He wasn't trying to change her. He wasn't trying to mold her into something else. He saw that Glorilla had the potential to be Memphis royalty, a queen who could carry the torch for the city. And that's exactly what she signed up for. She joined CMG. But with that deal came pressure from both inside the industry and outside. People started questioning her moves. Was she selling out? Was she in over her head? Was Gotti really looking out for her? But Glo made it clear, this wasn't just about one hit. I got a whole catalog. I write my own. I'm not a fluke. She didn't just sign a contract. She took control of her career. The memes, the headlines, the critics, they didn't faze her. Because Glorilla wasn't just trying to go viral. She was building a brand, a movement, an empire. And while the CMG deal took her to the next level, fame came with a cost she didn't see coming.
Fame's cost, depression, breakups, and body shaming. Success looks glamorous from the outside, but behind the bright lights and sold-out shows, Glorilla was breaking down. She was performing at festivals, dropping viral tracks, and locking in major deals. But privately, she was hurting. One heartbreak hit so hard, she stopped eating. Literally. She never want nobody to have that much power over me where I can't eat, she confessed. We're talking days without food, just trying to function off protein shakes and Pedialyte. That type of pain, it don't get posted on Instagram, but it's real. And she wasn't just battling a broken heart, she was battling the pressure of living up to this new version of herself the world expected. The industry wanted FNF Glorilla on command, loud, unbothered, bulletproof. But offstage, she was just Gloria, trying to navigate fame, haters, headlines, and heartbreak. The criticism wasn't just personal, it was body deep. Every outfit got dissected. Every performance sparked comments about her appearance. People online started pushing the BBL narrative hard, like success somehow required surgery. Her clapback, "No, I'm not getting a BBL. I already feel like the thickest bitch in the world." Confidence, raw, unapologetic. But it wasn't just internet trolls. Even the gospel community came for her when she dropped her debut album Glorious in October 2024. The controversy? A track called Rain Down on Me, featuring gospel icons like Kirk Franklin, Maverick City Music, and Kiara Sheard. Some fans called it disrespectful. How could an artist known for explicit lyrics share space with spiritual legends? But what they forgot, or never knew, was that Glo came from church. She wasn't hijacking gospel for clout, she was reconnecting with her roots. And that's the thing most people miss about her. She's not an industry puppet, she's layered, complicated, real. Yes, she raps about struggle. Yes, she claps back hard. But she also listens. When she got called out for offensive lyrics in August 2024, she didn't dodge it. She rewrote the bars, posted the update herself, and moved forward. That type of accountability, rare in hip-hop. But that's Glow, the mix of fire and grace that keeps fans locked in. Only problem? The world was watching closer than ever, and that spotlight was about to burn even brighter and more dangerous. Legal targeting, felony charges, and fallout. By July 2025, Glorilla was on top of the world, headlining major events, performing at the WNBA All-Star Weekend, and living out dreams most people only imagine. But success? It doesn't just attract fans, it attracts attention, the wrong kind. While she was on stage in Indianapolis, thousands cheering her name, 3 masked intruders broke into her Georgia home. Her family was there, armed, scared. Shots were fired, the robbers fled, jewelry stolen, trauma left behind. The next part should have been simple. Police respond, investigate, hunt the suspects. But instead, they arrested Glorilla. Not because she was involved, she wasn't even home. Not because she called the police, her family did. They arrested her because while sweeping the house, they found marijuana in a bedroom closet. In her own home, a place that had just been violently invaded. Let that sink in. A young black woman gets robbed, her family gets traumatized, and she's the one facing felony charges? My house got home invaded, and instead of focusing on the suspects, they focused on cannabis. That tweet? Over 3.6 million views, a digital explosion of disbelief. Her legal team clapped back hard, calling it exactly what it was, a disturbing window into law enforcement priorities. And here's the part that'll really make your blood boil. No arrests have been made for the actual robbery. The criminals who broke in, terrorized her family, and walked off with valuables still out there, free, untouched. Meanwhile, Glorilla, the victim, is fighting felony possession charges that could derail her entire career. Let's be real. This ain't about weed. Not really. This is about power, about how the system reacts when a young black woman rises too fast, shines too bright, and refuses to play by their rules. It's about control, because while the world saw a viral star, the system saw a threat. Someone who came from nothing, built something, and didn't ask permission. But Glow didn't hide. She didn't cancel shows. She pulled up to her scheduled Glow Bass performance in Memphis like nothing could break her. Because they might have tried to cage her, but they couldn't touch her spirit.
Bigger than Glow. Systemic injustice. Glorilla's arrest isn't just a celebrity headline. It's a mirror, reflecting a system that has never known what to do with young, successful black artists who come up on their own terms. Let's be honest, if this happened to a chart-topping pop star from Beverly Hills, the story would have been about the break-in, the trauma, the need for better security. But because it was Glow, a rapper from South Memphis with weed in her closet, the narrative flipped from victim to criminal. That ain't coincidence. That's a pattern. Glow's situation is what happens when a system designed to control poverty sees someone escape it and dares to stay loud. We've seen it before. Artists from marginalized communities face a different rulebook. One misstep, real or perceived, and suddenly they're a headline, a mugshot, a case number. It's not just about marijuana. It's not just about the law. It's about power and who's allowed to have it. And Glow? She broke every expectation. She didn't get rich quietly. She didn't soften her sound for corporate approval. She said, "I'm thick, I'm loud, I'm free, and I'm here to stay." And that's what scared them. But even under pressure, she moved with purpose. When critics attacked her lyrics, she rewrote them. When the gospel world questioned her, she reminded them where she came from. When the world told her to shrink, she stood taller. Now, facing felony charges, her future is uncertain. These charges don't just threaten her freedom, they threaten her ability to tour internationally, sign endorsements, grow her empire.
But if her past is any clue, she's not going down quietly. Her legal team, led by Drew Finling, is coming hard, calling out the absurdity of prioritizing a small amount of cannabis over catching violent criminals. Fans, they're showing up, louder than ever, because this isn't just about Glow anymore. It's about every artist who came from nothing and dared to be somebody. And whether the system realizes it or not, this fight is bigger than music. This fight is about justice.
Mic drop ending. Glorilla's story isn't over, not even close. She came from cracked sidewalks and crowded rooms, turned raw talent into platinum records, and never asked for sympathy, only a fair shot. And now, even as she faces felony charges that could strip away everything she's built, she's showing the world what resilience really looks like. She didn't cancel tours, she didn't disappear. She stood on that Memphis stage, Glow Bash, lights blazing, and gave her city the performance they deserved. Because this isn't about one arrest, one bad headline, or even one artist. It's about a pattern that repeats itself over and over, where success becomes suspicion, and freedom comes with conditions. Ask yourself, how does a robbery victim end up the only person in handcuffs? How does a voice that once sang gospel get treated like a threat? It's not because she did something wrong. It's because she did everything right and didn't apologize for it. The irony cuts deep. Glow's entire brand is about freedom. FNF wasn't just a hit, it was a declaration. And now the system is trying to take the very thing she shouted into the mic, her freedom. But here's what they didn't count on. Glow's voice isn't just loud, it's lasting. It echoes through every girl who grew up in a house like hers, who heard no too many times and kept going anyway. Whether she beats these charges or not, Glorilla already won. She exposed what happens when you rise too fast in a world built to keep you down. She made the public ask questions the system can't easily answer. And she reminded all of us that real power isn't in the image, it's in the impact. So now we leave it with you. Was Glow targeted or just unlucky? Did the system fail her, or was it designed this way all along? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this justice or something else? And if you felt this story, like, share, subscribe, because more people need to know what's really happening when the cameras stop rolling. This was the rise, the fight, and the fire of Glorilla. And trust, she's just getting started.